Hey there, and welcome back to Love Elevated TV. If you're new here, I'm Arnitris Strong, and I'm all about helping single, successful people just like you redefine what love feels like so that they can attract the healthy and fulfilling relationships that they desire. If you're looking to elevate your love life and attract the kind of relationship that aligns with who you truly are, you're in the right place. And there, in our last video, we introduced the powerful concept of an elevated love brand, your personal blueprint to attracting the love that's right for you. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend going back and watching that one first because it sets the foundation for what we're discussing today. Now that we've covered what an elevated love brand is, today's video is all about taking action. How do you align your dating life with this elevated love brand? How do you ensure that your actions are truly reflective of your relationship goals, your values, and your desires? We're going to be discussing all of those questions and more in today's video. Let's go. Talk a little bit more about an elevated love brand. In my last video, I introduced that concept of an elevated love brand, and I know that it's probably a term that you have never heard before, but an elevated love brand is nothing more than your own personal brand that is created to attract the type of relationship that you desire, the love for your life that is going to reflect your needs, your wants, your desires, your own personal relationship goals. Think of your elevated love brand as your favorite luxury brand, right? Whatever your favorite luxury brand is, if that is Givenchy, if that is Yves Saint Laurent, that is Gucci, if that is Prada, if that is Louis Vuitton, think about what about those brands is important to you. Is it their attention to detail? Is it the feeling that you get when you walk into their stores? Is it the invitations to exclusive events? Is it having pieces that are not mass marketed and that you're not going to go to a random party and everybody is going to have on these shoes or have this purse? Whatever it is about that brand that attracts you as a consumer is that same je ne sais quoi that is going to attract the love for your life. It is really a reflection of who you truly are at your core, and you being authentically you is going to attract a love for your life. That's all an elevated love brand is. The last part that we're going to talk about is the focus on mutual goals. Both are important. I want to give you have determined that the relationship didn't work for whatever reason, and we don't take the time to assess what went well, what did not go well, and we just walk away and lock the key on that relationship. But those relationships are the key to success in your future relationships. So the first thing that you want to do when you're doing this love brand audit is that you want to think about your last three relationships. You're going to gather some data on your past relationships. You're going to create a list of your past three relationships. You don't have to put their name down or anything, but you may want to talk about how you met, how long you were together, how you ended. You want to talk about your last three relationships. And when I say your last three relationships, significant relationships. I'm not talking about someone that you went out with two times and determined that it was not a match. You want to talk about, you want to consider significant and long-term relationships. And first start out by talking about the writing down the nature of the relationship, the duration, and the reason for it ending. So number one, you're gathering some data. All right. Number two, the second thing that you want to do is that you want to go through these relationships and think about any patterns or themes in relationships. When I assessed my past relationships, what I saw a recurring theme in my relationships was that the men did not seem to fully commit to me. And we would be in a quote unquote relationship, but it wasn't really clearly defined about what it was that we were doing. Now, I'm not placing all the blame solely on them, that it was no clear definition about what we were doing, because I also did not initiate a conversation about that. And that was a lot of time, that was because I was afraid of what the answer was going to be. But that was one of the things that I saw in my past relationships. There was no clear definition of what it was that we were doing. I was in a committed relationship with them. They weren't necessarily in a committed relationship with me. Another thing that I saw was that we didn't resolve conflicts well. We just, an issue rose, we did not talk about it, and it's acted like it didn't happen. Maybe we didn't talk for a couple of days or a week or whatever, and then we just went over. I remember my ex, we had an argument about something, and then he blocked me, and I didn't talk to him for a month or so. Then all of a sudden he called me. I think that I called him. I remember I called him, and it was his birthday, and I left him a message that just said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you happy birthday." And he called me back. And then I tried to have a conversation with him about the fact that he just blocked me, but he was like, "Well, sometimes you just don't need to talk about stuff. You just need to just move on." How many of you know that whatever those issues were showed up later in the relationship? So the first thing that you want to do is gather the data that's just talking about the nature of the relationship, the duration, and why it ended. The second thing is that you want to go through and identify any patterns or recurring themes in those relationships. The third thing that you want to do is that you want to reflect and see if your personal values and your needs have changed from the time that you were in those relationships to now. So I talked about my relationship with my ex and the fact that the only thing that was on my list that I wanted was that he went to church every Sunday. Well, I determined after that little experiment that maybe I needed to be a little bit more specific about the type of person that I wanted. So you want to look at those patterns and themes and determine if, as a result of being in those relationships or those experiences that you had in those relationships, you want to see if your personal goals and your needs have changed. You want to think about the experiences in those relationships that you had that you want to repeat in future relationships, and then those ones that you probably don't want to repeat. So, number one, you are going to gather the data. Talk about the duration, how it ended, the nature of the relationship. Number two, you want to identify patterns and themes. And number three, you want to reflect on how your personal values and goals have changed after being in those relationships. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to use all of that information to design your elevated love brand. And if you are ready to design your elevated love brand that is going to attract the love for your life, then I invite you to join me for my complimentary masterclass on August the 26th. It is all about taking those things, that intel that you've gotten from doing your love brand audit, and putting that into a relationship resume that is going to be a concise document that you can refer to, that is going to help you to navigate love and relationships. So we talked about assessing and auditing your current love brand. It's not elevated yet, but that's okay. We're getting there. And after you have done that audit, you want to make sure that you are creating your own set of relationship goals. Those goals, as we get older, those goals should change. The things that we desired in relationship when we were in our 20s, not necessarily things that we may desire in the relationships in our 30s and 40s and beyond, right? So we want to make sure that we are setting goals that are in alignment with this new elevated love brand that we are creating. So we are going to set relationship goals. We're not determining our goals. We're not determining our success by traditional means. Although you may be traditional, your goals are going to be personal to you. So that's not to say that we just dismiss traditional goals if your goal is marriage, that's your goal. But if your goal is not marriage, then it's okay that it's not marriage. So you're going to set whatever those goals are. And it's easy to set the goals, right? The hard part is making sure that our actions are in alignment with those goals. So, in order to take aligning action to attract your elevated love brand, creating your elevated love brand, and making sure that our actions are aligned with the elevated love brand that we have designed, you're going to assess and audit your current love brand. And then you're going to set your goals in alignment with that love brand. So thank you for joining me in this video. And I hope that you have gotten something that you can apply to your journey for attracting the love for your life. And I'm going to leave the link down below for you to join me in our masterclass, Your Elevated Love, Designing a Relationship Brand That Attracts. It's on August the 26th. It's complimentary. It is my gift to you. You're going to walk away knowing exactly what your elevated love brand is. We're going to talk about your mission, your values, your positioning statements. You're going to have a loose framework for a relationship resume that you're going to be able to walk out into the dating scene with a little bit more confidence that you can attract the love that you desire. Till next time, I'll see you in the next video. So we know what an elevated love brand. We know define what it is that we truly want. We understand that the key to a lot of the things that we want and desire is held in our past relationships, and it's going to require that maybe we do a relationship audit to find out what those things are. But some of the benefits of doing that is that you have increased clarity. You're going to collapse the time that it takes for you to be able to attract that love. You're going to have that increased self awareness. You're going to attract the right people, and your confidence, and you're going to have such an alignment in dating. And I want you to stay tuned to Love Elevated because I am creating something so special for you. You know that Love Elevated is all about giving you the tools and the skills that you need to attract loving and healthy, fulfilling relationships. But I also want to give you practical opportunities to attract and to be in the presence of those people who are going to love you the way that you need to be loved. So stay tuned. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for joining me on this journey to align your elevated love brand. Today, we have talked about actions that you can take to align yourself with the love that you both deserve and desire. If you're excited to go deeper and take more action toward creating your elevated love brand, don't forget to check out Your Elevated Love, Designing a Relationship Brand That Attracts on August the 26th. I'll leave the link in the comments below. This is your chance to get your personalized guidance and create a love story that is worth repeating.